Hey everybody, try to get my channel up and going again. It shouldn't have been anything I should have let go, but we're going to start new today. Anytime I meet anybody who is just starting to crochet or wants to learn to crochet, I always recommend the granny square. And I have met a lot of people who don't know how to do them. So I figured, well, I'll teach you how to do it the way I do it. There's hundreds of patterns, and everybody is different. Some people will chain more, some people will chain less. Some people turn their work, some people don't turn their work. But as long as you get the basic concept of it, you can do almost any granny square. Just learning, then you just learn to read patterns. So when you're getting started, I wouldn't recommend anything more expensive than the Red Heart Super Saver yarn. A skein of 7 ounces is probably $3 at Walmart. You can get the real big bulks, and that's like right at $6. It is a number 4, medium weight. This one I wouldn't go any smaller on the hook than an H. This is a different color, but see it says an H for this pattern. There's gauging on the back. Some patterns you have to do it a certain size. So what it's telling you here, see that? An I, number 9mm hook, 12 single crochets in 15 rows should measure 4 by 4. With this particular granny square, just learning it, gauging really doesn't matter. The key is keeping your stitches consistent. So I recommend an inexpensive, good quality. Red Heart is one of the better yarns. You're going to need your hook. Now this one is, I think it's like $1.97, $1.87 at Walmart. This one doesn't have a grip on it. If you were to buy the same size hook with this grip on it, it's like a hard plastic. This one runs just under $4. I prefer these, but I need more of a grip on it because my hands hurt. I have, you'll see it throughout this video, but I have severe eczema and my joints hurt. Almost like I have arthritis. So you're going to see me working with a needle that has a rubber foam grip on it. I ordered these through Amazon, and they come in a 3-pack. They have the yellow one, which is the smaller hole. Probably fit that. I know it fits a pencil. Then there's a red one that's a little bit bigger than this one, and then there's a blue one that has a pretty big hole. And people that have arthritis, or like my son who has fine motor skill issues, these help with the ability to grip things. And I use the blue ones on the needles that have these rubber grips. Well, I'll take scrap yarn and go all the way around it so that it doesn't slip and slide because it's too big. But the red one was too small. So just for time purposes, because I'm already rambling, I'm just going to use my J hook, and that's much bigger. You can use stitch markers to get you started. Some patterns, the chain up stitch counts as a stitch, and some patterns it doesn't. In this granny square, when you chain 3 or chain 4, it does count. Alright, so I already did a video on a magic circle, so let's do it the other way. And this is your more common way. So you do a slip stitch. This does not count as a chain. Kind of loose, don't do it too tight. And we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. In the chain at the knot, the one furthest from your needle, you're going to crochet into it. So the back bottom bump Put your needle right above it. You have the top two. You're going to yarn over, pull through your chain, yarn over, pull through two, yarn over, pull through two. That is a double crochet. You need to put 12 inside this circle. So the chain counts as 1. This one's number 2. So we need to make it 12. Yarn over, go through the exact same hole, exact same chain. And that tail, you're just going to have to kind of hold it down and work over it, and that will secure it. So one more time, yarn over, through the hole, hold the tail down, go through, yarn over, come back. Yarn over, pull through two, yarn over, pull through two. One of the things that I have learned from my own experience, because I've actually started crocheting twice in my life. Once when I was a teenager, and then when I was like 19, 20 years old. We have a tendency of pulling our chains and our stitches too tight, and we can't work in them. When you're chaining, you're literally creating a chain. You're not braiding. You need to be able to work in it, so it needs to be a little loose. Regardless of what you do, that first row is always a little weird, but you keep going and you'll get it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2 more. 11, 12. Now, go to the top of that chain that you may see right here. Make sure you get the front and the back loop of that chain in, get the tail out of the way. We're going to slip stitch. We're going to yarn over, we're going to pull through. You have 2 on there, pull through. So that's your foundation. So we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. This counts as a double crochet. In this space between where your chain came out and this row, you're going to go through it, yarn over, you're going to put 2 more double crochets. You're building your corner blocks. That's 1 block. Chain 2. Some people chain 1, some people chain 3. You have to chain because it actually forms the corner. The more chains you put in there, the wider your corner will be. You're going to put another set of 3 double crochets in. So this is 1 corner. Chain 1. Now, if you look at it, you're going to count 3 over. 1, 2, 3. In between 3 and 4, you're going to build your next corner. So use your finger. Double crochet. 1 set of 3. Chain 2. Chain 2 in your corners, chain 1 in your blocks, and I'll show you that in the next row. Do another set of 3 in the exact same hole. Do that. Chain 1. Do the exact same thing again. 1, 2, 3. In between 3 and 4, spread the stitches, create another corner. Set of 3. Chain 2. The more you do it, the faster you get. I'm going to say the looser your stitch, the smoother it is. You don't want it to be sloppy loose, but you want it to be able to flow on and off of the needle. Chain 1. Do it one more time. 1 double, 2, 3. They'll call that a chain space, or work in a space if you start reading, when you start reading patterns. And that, what that means is it's working in the space between the stitch, not in the stitch. One of the things I like about the granny square is you really don't have to count once you get this little block done. Now we're back at the beginning. You're going to do a slip stitch. So in that top chain, you're going to slip stitch. Pull through, pull through. Now this is where I do things different than some. There's hundreds of patterns for granny squares, and there's hundreds of techniques. I don't like good side, bad side. And I really don't like slip stitching to go work in this corner. I don't like working in corners. So here's what I do. Chain 3. Turn it. You're gonna, that's your first double crochet in the space. Chain, double crochet 2. That creates your first block. Chain 1. Now we're in a corner. 3 double crochets. Chain 2. Another set of 3 to create your corner. Chain 1 in that space. Set of 3. If you can get this concept of the 3 doubles in a space, the granny square is easy peasy. It doesn't matter the pattern. It also opens the door for the granny shawls, which are triangle shawls, or a granny square poncho, or Afghans, or anything that works in the granny. This is the concept. So I finished my 3. Did I chain? Chain 1. I'm back in the corner. Three double crochets, chain 2. That first 2 rows, you really pay attention. Then you get into a rhythm. And once you become comfortable with the stitch and your stitch tightness and things like that, you can actually watch television and rarely look at where you're working, because your non-working hand, the one that controls your yarn, will feel the spaces. Like I'm in a corner. I can feel that there's a lot more there, and there's that big chain, so I don't even have to look. I'm just going to keep working. corners are chain 2s. Anything outside that corner is a chain 1. I don't worry about perfection. I'm not perfect, so why should anything that I do be perfect? I'm not going to deliberately miss a stitch. But if you're like 8, 9 rows in it and you realize that row 4 only had 2 double crochets in a cluster, you don't have to pull it out. Most people aren't even going to notice. Handmade gifts just mean more, period. You're finished. You always chain 1. Go back into that chain stitch, slip stitch, 1, 2, 3, turn. This works really, really well for solid colors. When you're working with variegated, like this is a red heart one. See, there's all these different colors. You'll be able to tell that your colors go in different directions. Depending on the look, what you're going for, it really doesn't matter. And it's because it's growing, it doesn't, it's not as noticeable as some of the other things that you'll do. And literally, I'm going to go back. That is a square. And it's a big, great Afghans, ponchos. I did a little girl's poncho a couple weeks ago. I think I'll do miniature versions of it so that you can get an idea of it. But you actually take 4 grannies and put them together, and it'll create the poncho. I hope that made sense. Let me know. Thumbs up if it did. If you have any other basic stitches you want to go through. I think the next one I might do is a farmhouse stitch in cotton that I use for washcloths. So I hope you tune into the next one. Thanks.